What up traders, what up investors, Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic video. Today we're going to be looking at NVIDIA, basically an analyst upgrade, which honestly doesn't really matter much to me, from Jefferies, which is kind of an analyst firm that I do kind of like, and they actually do a fairly good job on their analysis. And then also with the potential of a large options trade going through, going all the way out in January next year for around the $600 call price. Looking for potentially, can NVIDIA hit 600 by that time? I don't know. We're going to look at the charts. We'll look at some of this fun stuff and we'll just kind of dive into it. First and foremost, I just want to thank everyone for coming in. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I greatly appreciate it if you definitely can do that for me. That being said, let's go ahead and just jump into the upgrade. So NVIDIA price target raises to $680. Again, these analysts usually have this certain model set in place. That deal finally came through with ARMS. The Chinese government gave the old thumbs up on it. Now allowed them to be able to proceed with the merger and just acquiring and kind of forming all into one company. Of course, this is a huge win for NVIDIA. This is again just really combining its stronghold within the chip making company and just really just propelling it to the next level here. Again, their initial price target was around 570, but now with this larger an actual position finally going through, we can finally see that really kind of come into around that higher price at again 680 bucks. So that being said, looking here at the chart, let's go ahead and look at the trade tab as well. We saw a pretty large options buying again that January 15th 2021, 600 of those at $44 or $4,400 per contract. That total cost of that trade was nearly $2.6 million. Again, they could be hedging their bets. We don't know. It's a very unusual options activity. If we go all the way out to that trade tab on here, the chart, we can see that really highlighted here at that $600 price. Here, that large amount of volume coming in today. The open interest, of course, is climbing. $600 is a nice round number. It is somewhat in reach. We hit the 580 before the overall market decline. This is well above 123 days out, so there's plenty of time for this options to potentially play out. Again, it is out of the money play, so you have to be very careful with that with time decay. If we just kind of just steady Eddie and do nothing, or we can just be coming closer to the having somewhat more of a market correction that we saw past couple days or last week. Again, that option has really gained a lot in price, again up 44% today, but again, that open interest is very clear that there is potentially some activity going on there, especially with a large amount of momentum and volume coming into there. And as well, just in the short term, we can see some other options activity just in October. We saw a lot of buying just at the money at the 520, with basically between that and all the way to 530, with a lot of options activity going there. One more point I want to highlight as well is just looking at November as well. We saw again that 550 as well, with a lot of options buying are in around that range as well. Potentially, again, once we look at the chart, you'll kind of see on these where these prices are kind of coming in, where we have seen before. So that being said, again, we saw that NVIDIA basically hit that all-time high after earnings and really that huge run up at basically, let's just call it $590, and then gave it really a lot of it back, nearly dropping well over $100 in about a very short period of time, and really scared a lot of people. And we had a lot of volume coming in here to selling out, but now today we're kind of bouncing here between the 21 and 34. Potentially the next short-term level support is going to be around 470 here. Let's go ahead and just create an alert on that for that. Then we can just do some very simplistic Fibonacci retracement from the swing high to swing low. We're right here bouncing here at that 50% retracement, which is around the 528, 530 level. Again, if this level doesn't hold, we're potentially looking for some support around the $500 level to the downside. If that doesn't hold, we're looking again for that around that short-term 470, even to kind of see that 50-day potentially come into play. Again, this is with the overall market and how things are digested, because we just had a pretty large gap up with the news. The overall NASDAQ and overall tech stocks are doing substantially better just on a Monday. I'm usually not the biggest fan on going on a Monday and just throwing a bunch of bets and just kind of waiting for things to kind of sink in for the week, because again, we're up 6.27% right now. This is called over 6% just today at 30 bucks. It's going to be very difficult to kind of get into very options, even though the prices have been driving up quite a bit. Some key levels to look out for, those potential targets like we talked about. I think my initial target for this one is to be around 622 for the next potential of this downturn is the low. We can see that consolidation here and get that momentum higher to really get above that 622. And then even after that would be around 664. And then extreme ratings would be around the 786. Again, a lot of folks were saying that Jeffries was saying their price target is around 680. That kind of lines up with that 6664 here on that potential move. Again, we just had earnings. It was great. Everyone really took well to their analyst day as well, showing off their new GPUs. And then, of course, with this acquisition and finally being okayed by the Chinese government, that we're finally could be seeing some potential movement going higher. But again, that is on a side note to be mindful of, like, if the NASDAQ and overall tech heavy stocks get beat down, you have to, this one definitely can go with it. This hasn't been beaten down as much as the other technology companies in the same cohort because a lot of them hit around the 50-day. This thing kind of held its own by the 34 EMA, which is, again, a nice key level that we like to look for potential buying or swing trades there. So that being said, but this is looking like a fairly nice straightforward setup. If we can kind of see that consolidation around above 500, if we can see that pattern to kind of start decaying and getting below 500, we're going to be looking for some short-term lows, potentially having the 50-day kind of come in for some initial support to kind of help us boost us up here. And the longer term side, looking here on the weekly chart, this thing has just been a monster here on the weekly side ever since basically since the overall pandemic. We've been really riding up that 5 and 8 moving averages here on the weekly side, and we're just hitting that lower band of that on that a couple days just last week. So that 480 to 470 is going to be a pretty key level for that as well. If we get a really strong sell-off and a lot of selling and a lot of pressure coming in, we could easily see the 425 potentially come in for the NVIDIA. But again, that's going to be a lot of things need to go wrong for that to happen normally with a strong market correction or the downturn of a lot of selling going on. That being said, I think that this is, again, key takeaways. Looking for support around 500, potentially even down to 470 would be a potential support zones, level 1 and level 2. Really with the larger scale of basically coming around the 460 to 470 range for that initial support to the downside, because again, we haven't seen too much chop in this stock for quite some time. We've just touched the 21 EMA a couple times all the way up, but this thing has just been rocketing higher again, finally getting jolted off the track a little bit. But I think it just needs to do a little bit of a correction here, maybe get some weak hands out, and then potentially get back on the step and see that higher prices. Initially, from key levels to kind of see the break those parabolic SARs would be above like the 543, 550 level. That's where those parabolic and those Fibonacci numbers are kind of coming into. If those are broken and to the upside, we could easily see those potential price targets of 622 and 664.95 be met within the next coming weeks or months. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're interested in supporting and joining the channel, we have that YouTube join button next to the subscribe button, and as well as a Patreon page. And as well, if you want to be looking to start trading options or a great brokerage firm, I highly recommend Tastyworks. I have an affiliate link down below, and definitely check those guys out. I love those guys over there. Again, guys, this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace!